Welcome, everyone. Before we dive in, be sure to drop your thoughts, feelings, and lessons in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe so you never miss stories like this. Let's get into it. The cruel thing my wife did was cheat, then grab the mic at a backyard barbecue and call me useless in front of everybody like my dignity was a joke. Here's how it happened. I'm Miles Benton, a black man in Decatur, Georgia, the kind who shows love through consistency. Full tank on her car, groceries before the fridge looks sad, and a calendar that actually gets followed. I met Kiera Benson at a friend's game night in Atlanta, where everyone was pretending they understood the rules but really just wanted snacks and trash talk. Kiera laughed with her whole face, eyes, cheeks, shoulders, like joy was her default setting. She beat me in Uno, slapped down the last card like she'd won a championship, and said, "Miles, you look like you balance spreadsheet for fun." I said, "Only on weekends." She laughed so hard she snorted, then covered her mouth like she could tuck the sound back in. Our first real date was at a little spot on Edgewood Avenue. Kiera ordered the spiciest wings on the menu like she had something to prove. 5 minutes later, she was blinking through tears, whispering, "I'm fine," while her face turned the color of a stop sign. I slid my water over and said, "You want me to call the fire department or your pride handling this?" She kicked my shin under the table, gentle, playful, and I knew I was in trouble in the best way. The romance came easy at first. She'd steal my hoodies and walk around the apartment like she paid rent and fabric. She'd sit on the counter while I cooked, humming old R&B, swinging her feet and telling me what she liked, even though she couldn't boil pasta without checking a tutorial. Some nights, she'd fall asleep on my chest, and I'd stare at the ceiling thinking, this is peace. This is home. I loved her in a quiet way, steady, loyal, built to last. We married in Stone Mountain with a small crowd, lots of laughter, and an auntie who kept yelling, "That's my baby," at the wrong times. Kiera looked stunning, but what got me was her hands squeezing mine during the vows like she was saying, "You're safe with me." We bought a house in Decatur not long after. The down payment came from my grandmother's inheritance. Money she left me with strict instructions, use it to build, not to beg. I worked operations at a distribution hub, so my brain lived on checklists and patterns. Kiera worked in events and PR, where charm covered everything like a pretty tablecloth. We joked that I was the boring husband, and she was the fun wife. The funny scenes became our thing. Kiera trying to help, me meal prep, and labeling the containers wrong. So Wednesday's chicken turned into mystery salmon overnight. I'd open the fridge like, "Ma'am, why is this marked Tuesday vibes?" Then little comments started. Kiera would say I moved too careful, that I wasn't flashy enough, that I didn't know how to have fun. At first I laughed it off because marriage has seasons and I figured we were just adjusting. But the way she said it changed, less teasing, more dismissive. Like she was slowly rewriting me into a man she could criticize in public and still expect to come home and do the responsible parts. Around that time, Lamar Fitch showed up more. Kiera called him her college friend, the one who always had jokes. Lamar was loud, confident, and always performing. He'd slap hands too hard, talk too close, smile like he enjoyed being watched. At first, I told myself it was nothing. I didn't want to be the paranoid husband. But I noticed how Kiera looked at her phone when his name popped up. Quick, private, pleased. The first real crack hit when she started running errands at odd hours. A grocery run at 10:30 p.m. A work meeting on Sunday morning. I'd ask questions, and she'd answer with irritation, like curiosity was a crime. One night, she came home smelling like a different soap, sharp and cologne heavy. When I asked, she rolled her eyes and said, "Miles, you're doing the most." Then she kissed my cheek like a bandage and walked past me. I didn't explode. I didn't accuse. I just got quiet and observant. That's the thing about people who manage logistics. We don't guess. We confirm. I started collecting receipts, literally and digitally. Bank statements with charges that didn't match her story. Ride-share times. A second phone line notification that wasn't mine. Doorbell camera timestamps. Not because I wanted drama, but because I wanted reality. I needed the truth to be solid, not emotional. The funny part, if you can call it funny, was how careless they were. Lamar wasn't discreet. He was arrogant. One receipt showed a gas station purchase across town at midnight, right after Kiera told me she was too tired to go anywhere. Another time, my phone suggested a photo memory from our shared cloud. Kiera at a lounge in Midtown Atlanta, smiling in a mirror, Lamar's watch visible at the edge like he couldn't help being part of the frame. Still, I tried to reach her. I planned a date night, candles and music, the kind of effort I used to enjoy. Kiera walked in, looked at the setup, and said, "Ah, that's cute," like I'd drawn her a picture in kindergarten. Then she ate 2 bites, scrolled her phone, and said she was meeting friends. I asked, "Can we talk?" She said, "Miles, don't start." Then she left, heels clicking like punctuation. The barbecue was at her cousin's house in Decatur. A big yard, folding chairs, kids sprinting like they had track scholarships. The smoke smelled good, the music was loud, and everybody was playing happy. I showed up holding a tray of drinks like I was trying to prove I belonged in my own marriage. Kiera barely looked at me. She stayed near Lamar, laughing too hard at jokes that weren't even funny. Lamar kept glancing at me like I was an obstacle he'd already stepped over. At one point, Kiera's aunt asked me to help with the grill. I did, because I'm helpful even when I'm hurting. A little kid ran by and knocked over a bowl of potato salad, and somebody yelled, "5-second rule," and I laughed, real laughter, because it was the first time that day my chest loosened. Kiera saw me smiling, and, for a second, her face tightened, like my ability to be okay offended her. Then Kiera grabbed the mic for a toast. People cheered. She leaned into it, loving the attention. She started with jokes, talking about marriage, making the crowd laugh. Then she looked right at me and switched. Her smile sharpened. She said, "I want to thank my husband for teaching me what I don't want anymore." The yard went quieter. Then she said it. "Miles is useless." She let hang like a punchline. Lamar laughed out loud. Kiera laughed too, proud, cruel, unbothered. I stood there frozen while the embarrassment flooded my body. Not because I believed her, but because everyone heard her. I saw faces turn away. I saw one uncle stare at his plate like it suddenly mattered. I wanted to disappear and also wanted to scream. Kiera watched me like she was daring me to react, like she wanted the messy version of me, so she could point and say, "See, that's why." I didn't give her that. I walked inside, washed my hands, and stared at my reflection. My eyes looked tired, not weak, tired. I pulled out my phone and texted my attorney, the one I'd already spoken to quietly in Stone Mountain. Then I texted Kiera one sentence. "You can keep the mic. I'm keeping my peace." Outside, the music kept going. Inside, I felt something settle, like a door closing gently but permanently. Over the next week, I moved like a man executing a plan. I didn't announce anything. I didn't post. I didn't beg. I just protected myself. The house paperwork was clean, my inheritance funds were documented, and the deed was structured properly from day one. My side business, fleet maintenance contracts, was separate and well recorded. I compiled the timeline, the transactions, the proof. Kiera kept acting bold, telling people I was dramatic, laughing at the idea I'd ever leave. Karma hit fast and quiet. Lamar's confidence evaporated when his job called him in. Company vehicle logs, fuel card usage, and a couple late-night trips that didn't match work. HR doesn't need gossip. They need documentation. Lamar didn't get a heroic downfall. He got the kind that happens in real life. Sudden distance, a leave, and then silence. Kiera tried to lean on him, and he stepped back the moment it got inconvenient, because that's who he was. When Kiera finally realized I was serious, she walked into the dining room and saw the folder. Filings, statements, and a move-out timeline. No yelling, no revenge speech, just consequences. She laughed at first, hard, disrespectful, then stopped when my attorney explained the reality. She still didn't apologize. She just looked angry that her power wasn't working. A month later, she moved out. I kept my home, my peace, and my private success. The funny part? The day she left, the fridge was still labeled wrong. Tuesday vibes. I smiled to myself and fixed it. Quietly. Permanently. See you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.